Hello everyone, welcome to a special edition of Art Whisper 88. I have here in front of me a package sent to me from California from an artist named Dale Voelker. We have become Instagram buddies. And I think we do admire each other's work. And one day he suggested that I would do a collaborative work with him. And a light bulb went off in my mind, and I said, why not? I think it would be a very cool thing to do. So he sent me this package of collage elements, and here's a little greeting from Dale. He said, "Do what you will with these, they are not precious. I look forward to what you come up with." So it's exciting, because I've never done a collab with another artist. But judging from the posts on Instagram, I feel that our sense of aesthetic is very similar in terms of colors and the love of abstract forms. So I figured, hey, why not? So let's see what we have here. Okay, very cool. So these seem to be done on heavyweight paper, and these are Collage printed paper and paint. Oh, here's a submarine. Okay. Here's some vintage newspapers. This is probably from the 60s, with the name Kennedy here. Okay, I see some aerosol and some brushwork. Here's more spray paint. Okay, interesting combination. And this is very California. It says Los Angeles Times. And here's a vintage fashion spread from the 70s. I like these. They're very cool. So I would consider these to be spare parts, so to speak. I'll see what I can do to assemble a totally new artwork with these as elements. There's more vintage photos. So I like the use of text or fonts as a element in collage. So we'll see what I come up with. So anyway, thank you, Dale. This is going to be a very interesting experiment, and I will keep you posted. See what I can do about this submarine. I think it's very interesting. Okay, so that is my exciting unboxing, and my next segment will be trying to figure out how to combine two different artistic outlooks into one artwork. So I'll be right back. Okay, everyone, I've started setting up the first leg of my Colab project, and I pick from the pile of pieces that Dale had sent me. I'm picking the simplest ones to start. These are just some vintage newspapers mounted on heavy board. And I have here a smaller plate. This is my medium format, 14. This is 12 by 14. And as you can see on my work table, I've already marked out with a Sharpie the measurements, and I always make sure I have a center line so I can center the plate and center the prints. So this piece is slightly bigger, ever so slightly larger. There's like about 3/4 of an inch extra, but I'm gonna work around that. So I have assembled a whole bunch of colors here. Lucas, this is cadmium orange. This is an Artist's Loft light blue. And here's a folk art sunny yellow. This is almost finished. The same thing with this red. And here's some raw sienna made by Golden fluid acrylics. So I find that sometimes when you use the fluid acrylics or something that is watered down like this one, this is coming to the end of the bottle. I always like to add a few drops of water to thin it out, because I hate to waste the paint even if it's just like a little left. So I take advantage of the watery consistency. So anyways, I've roughly laid out the plan with this. I have to remember that when you do jelly plate printing, the result is reverse. So I have to kind of mentally lay out. This is the plain side, and this is the side with newspaper text. So meaning, if I want color on this plain side, I have to put the color on this side. Okay. So I'm gonna start with yellow. And some orange. Do a little color mixing here. I'm not going to worry that if it's too clean of a surface, because the more texture there is, the better. See, and since it's kind of watery, there's some blotchiness, which is okay. Just make sure I don't have any spillover. I always have my wet rag here handy. And as usual, I will use my handy dowel to make my marks. Let's see what we got. So this is the plain side, this is the side with the text. So here goes. Now this medium format plate isn't used that much. I use the larger one, so it's still kind of, you would say, factory fresh. So it is very sticky, and I can feel that by pressing on it. I can tell this is going to be very sticky and the paint is going to transfer very well. It's so sticky, in fact, it's kind of pulling the newspaper off. Here's the first print. I like the blotchy textures, and my intention is not to make this too legible. I just want a hint of letters, but not so obvious that you can read every line. Okay, that's the first pull. I'm gonna put this aside. Now switching colors here. This is the second. So again, the blank part on the right side is going to be on the left. So I will put some more of the orange. That's why I like to have the wet rag here. And for contrast, I'm going to do a light blue. And let's see what I can get. No, I have a very rough layout of the colors, but I'm not overthinking this. But that's the whole point. I want this to be sort of spontaneous. And the fact that the paint is watered down gives the plate a little bit more texture. Okay. Let me do my favorite marks here. And let's see what we got. And as you can see, on a medium format, it is so much easier to control because it's a smaller surface area. I do, however, make sure that I apply a lot of pressure, because that's what makes the paint transfer. Okay, I'm being extra careful because this is newspaper mounted on heavy paper. I just want to make sure that it doesn't delaminate the newsprint. So here's the second print. Here's a close-up of the effect. This is when you use acrylic paint that is watered down on the jelly plate. I do like these little nooks and crannies. It makes for a very interesting texture. Okay, that's print number 2. And another reason I have this wet rag is then it's so much easier to do a cleanup. I do see some artists on YouTube who do jelly printing, and they don't clean their plate. I think they like the grungy look. I think that's what it's called, a grunge look. But I prefer to start fresh for every print and make sure that everything is clean, especially around the edges, so I don't get any smears on the borders. Okay, so that is my first stab at this Colab project. Let me get the other one. There we go. So this is layer number 1. So I will let this dry and then come back and do a second layer, maybe a third, and apply some more collage, this time using my own collage papers. So Stay tuned. I will be right back. Okay, here's that first piece that I did, and it's completely dry by now. And I have assembled my copy paper collage pieces here. These are made on my computer on my Paint. It's an app called Paint. It's a very simple drawing program, and I like to use the black and white lines and textures. And rather than pay money for a vector art or clip art, I'll just make my own, and it's my own style. So I have that, some red tissue paper, I've got some black tissue paper and some scraps. These are reused stencils that I had from past printing. So I think they might work nicely in contrast. So I'm going to do, since this is a bright spot, I'm going to put for contrast, put a dark element here. Okay, do that there. I think this is a nice spot for this. I'll just shape this so it's more interesting. So here's my glue pad. And I'm using my favorite Mod Podge matte finish. And the trick here is to work as quickly as possible, because when the paper gets wet, it starts to curl and it's difficult to control. So I want to make sure that when it's laid down, it lays flat. Otherwise, at a later time, it will just peel off, and that would not be good. Okay. And I will introduce some elements here. And this is just a stylistic mannerism. I like to use these shapes with indentations on them, so give them a little more interest, as opposed to using just a plain old triangle or rectangle, I mean. The nice thing about working with newsprint and absorbent paper is that it takes the glue very well. The glue actually strengthens the paper, kind of seals it. Let me see what else I have. So as you can see, I'm building up kind of like a construction. You start with a foundation and then you add your elements, and until you come up with something that is to your satisfaction. And I find the key in doing successful collages is to recognize there are blank spaces. You have spaces where you have stuff on it, but it's important to leave out breathing space. So you have a nice balance of busy areas and blank areas. Okay, I think this is pretty much filled up. It's a big contrast to what it started out as. So that is my first collage. And it's wet right now, so I'll wait for this to dry and then I'll do a close-up so you can see the textures. And once this dries, that the shine of the wet glue is going to disappear, so it'll be easier to see. So that's number one. Now here is the other one. I'm going to do a horizontal stripe. And since this is tissue, I'm not going to use the glue board because it will fall apart. It's much too delicate. That's one. Oops. I often have to catch myself when I'm working too fast. You have to pace yourself. Now, there are times when the paper refuses to lay down flat, so I just have to be patient and wait for the moisture of the glue to penetrate the fibers of the paper, because sometimes when the more you play with it, you risk ripping the paper. Again, I'm going to place a black element here using my black tissue. And tissue, because it's so thin, mounts very well when it lays flat very nicely. Yeah, this one has decided to lay down flat. It takes a few minutes. Okay, that's collage number 2. Let me just clear my table. Now here's the first one. It's not quite dry yet, but here's a general idea of the result. I'm going to do a close-up. And the piece is totally transformed with the use of a jelly plate and some strategically placed collage elements. Okay, that's it for the first attempt at the collab with Dale Voelker's collages. I hope you liked this first part of the project. Please like, hit the thumbs up, make a comment or suggestion, and to all you subscribers, my deepest appreciation, and I hope to see you next time.